Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this Ivy and the Inky Butterfly series. We have this very pretty looking feather to do today, and I've been thinking about how to do it. I've decided that I'm going to do it in some bluey greeny tones. I'll just show you. I had these sort of three colours in mind because I quite like doing feathers in gold or silver, but I've done a few like that for you before, and if you want to go back and look at my videos of those, then you can. I thought I would show you something different. So we've got the Helio Turquoise, and I'm going to start along the centre, just doing a little bit of this. On each little piece. Now here we've got a longer area, and what I'm trying to do is to put more colour down near this central piece. I think some people call that the sort of quill, I'm not sure. And all the way along, just slightly fade it up a little bit. We can always mess around with the shading later and come down this central part too on this side. I just thought we would do a really pretty colour. I'm sort of going to ignore Johanna's pretty patterns and hope they just show through once we're done. And I'm going to do the same again, but on the outside. So on the tip of each of these, we don't get a lot of room on these, but here we get a bit more. But we have to take this one just a little bit slower because we've got all these dips that we need to be aware of. I sort of picked this colour because I was looking around the page and thinking about what colours we've used, and thinking that we've got the Tiffany lamp to do for our last video, and that will probably be quite bright colours, particularly on this shade. So I thought that I would keep this one to a blue. We've got the blue at the top with the tunnel, so I thought it would sort of match in. So that's why I picked it. As I say, I was tempted to do gold or silver, but I've done them before, so I thought we'd do something different. And we'll probably do either gold or silver on the lamp stand anyway tomorrow, so you'll get to see a bit of that. Now we're going to use the Cobalt Turquoise, and basically we're just going to extend that colour through. So I'm just going to give this a sharpen because those little feathers, little bits of feathers, sorry, little tufty bits, really small. And I'm going to extend from both directions on these while I've got a nice sharp bit on my pencil. There we go. Now I can move along the centre. I'm sort of going over what I did before, just extending it out a bit. Obviously, as I go up the feather, this area gets thinner, so I will do a smaller amount. And I'm going to go back down here as well. Still leaving white because I've got another colour to come in, and I want a pale area in the centre to make it look like shine. So I'm not going to do too much at the top there, but bring some down here. Now what you could do on the feather here, oh, pretty sounding bird, don't know if you can hear it, where Johanna's markings are, her circles and lines and dots, you could grab a white or a silver pen. Probably silver would be better, or even, yeah, a sparkly type pen, and go over them to make them show up. Cobalt green, I'm going to keep mine quite plain. So what I want is to leave the smallest bit of white in the middle of each little bit, because I want to make the feather look like it's shining. I'm going to come from both directions to try and get it as even as I can. I'm not going to worry too much about it being exact. So I just want quite a small line just to show a shine without looking mega white. I think that'll do, and it makes the feather look like it's bent. It's hard for me to explain, to find the right words, but I think you know what I mean. So it's Monday today doing this, and the boys have gone off to college. They've got 2 weeks left and then they'll be finished for the summer, which is exciting. And they've both got one exam each left. One boy's got one on Thursday this week and the other one's got one on Friday next week, on the very last day of term. But they both seem quite confident, which is good. Okay, there's my feather. I'm happy with how that looks. You could make it darker on the middle if you want to. I'm just thinking here on this side it looks a little bit pale. I'm just going to go in there a little bit with a harder layer. Yeah, I'm happier with that, just being fussy. Now the centre part I usually do in grey. Let's have a look, what should we use? I think, oops, I shall use the Cold Grey 3, and I tend to try, I'm going to do a light layer all over. I tend to try to make it a little darker on the edges. I'm not sure I'll be able to carry that off very well. I can do it at the bottom where it's a bit thicker, but once we get up there you can't. Because it wouldn't be flat, it would be slightly rounded, but I'm being ultra fussy. Now we have our leaves, and what I thought, I was going to do a green background, but now looking at that feather, I don't think that's going to work. I don't think green's going to match. An emerald green might, though. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, or the phthalo greens. Yeah, let's do the phthalo greens. So I'm just going to pick those out and then think about what's the dark, that's the mid and the light. Think about, yes, right, those leaves, they need to stand out from the other greens that I'm going to be using. I'm still unsure whether that's going to work. Anyway, deep cobalt green, I'm going to try it. Now we've got these circles here and here, I'm going to do these. So around the edge, quite hard. Lighter towards, oh, it's raining. I hope the boys should be inside by now. My husband might be getting wet though. He has a bit of a walk from the car park. He doesn't park on site at his office. There isn't enough room for everybody in the car park. It seemed rather silly. They made the building bigger but made the car park smaller. Logic. So some of them park off site. They have a second car park a bit further away they park in, I think. I didn't really talk you through that. I talked you through this one, so I'm putting more layers on the outside. So yeah, he has a bit of a walk. It does him good, I think, to have a bit of a walk though. And he walks really fast when he's walking. He has to carry his laptop and stuff, and his lunch and all those sorts of things, and I think it's heavy, so he walks quickly. Probably does him good. There we go. Now the little leaves I think I'm going to do in a similar way, but they're quite small. Yeah, it's a bit cooler today, hence I've got my long sleeves on. Been wearing, it's always so hard in the British summer to know quite what to wear. Okay, now I'm not sure if my background idea is going to work, so I'm going to try it. I wouldn't copy me. Actually, you would have seen the thumbnail finished picture, so you can decide whether you like it or not. So I'm just going to go with it and be daring. So the dark phthalo green I'm going to do around the edge. Now you see I've done these so that they are darker, the ivy, so that it stands out. You could do it lighter as well, as long as it's just a shade that's significantly different so that it stands out. I just like dark ivy. I just think dark ivy is prettier when I see it in nature, so that's why I tend to colour it dark. There's no other reason. I saw some lovely colouring of ivy the other day where it was done in 2 shades, a green and a sort of light beigey colour, as if it was variegated. It was very clever. So that's a nice idea. So there are different ideas on how to do it. Okay, I'm not going to do very much of that dark colour. I want to do much more of the light colour as we come towards the feather so that it stands out. So I'm going to move to the phthalo green and go over this like that, and then just bring it in a little bit. So as I say, I want it to be lighter around our feather. Obviously it isn't here because we're getting quite close already, but do my best to make it lighter. It's very useful having a clock in here. I can keep an eye on the time. I used to have a tablet with me, but it means I have to touch it because it goes to sleep to look at the time all the time. So it's not ideal. I could have brought a phone in, I guess, but then if it rings it's really loud. I quite like being in a different room to the phone. It makes me jump, and I think it makes you jump too if I forget to edit it out. Now I'm going to go really light so that it fades into the lighter shade. So I've got my pencil on its end, just doing a really light bit like that. And now we've got our light phthalo green, which is significantly lighter. It seems to be a big jump between the mid and the light in this particular set of colours. I'm trying to burnish over the layers so that they all mix together. We get less white paper, and then hopefully we'll see transition of colour. As we go, let's have a look in the screen. Yeah. I don't know how people cope with lives. I was just thinking, you know, I rarely remember to look in the screen to see whether I've got my paper in view, you know, what I'm colouring in view or not, let alone being able to keep up with the conversation. But Premieres is better. Hang on, I've just got to wipe my nose, because I can just follow the chat and I don't have to be talking because the video is already made. I think that's a bit easier for me, but I know I haven't been doing those lately. It's all a matter of trying to find the time to fit everything in, but I think I might soon have time to do some premieres in the mornings. I know the afternoons is preferable because America is awake. In the mornings you're not, so I'm not sure whether the mornings will even work, but the afternoon videos are a bit short, so if they're a bit too short it doesn't give you time to talk to me before it all goes away. So we'll see. I haven't forgotten about it. I know some people really like it, so I will give it a lot of thought. Now here I'm trying to make it look a bit lighter nearer the feather, darker down here. I'm just going over and over until it looks how I want it. Now at this point you could burnish, you could blend using your burnishing or blending pencils, but I'm just going to continue with this pencil. Some people much prefer to just use a lighter shade to finish and not to use a burnisher or a blender. There are pros and cons. I think I'm going to leave it like that actually. I don't want this bit to get too dark around the feather or else it's going to disappear, because our shades, I probably shouldn't have picked shades. Well, I wanted to pick bluey greens or else it might clash, but they're quite similar. I think it works. If you wanted to stand out more, as I said before, you could go over Johanna's marks in a silver pen or a glitter pen, or even around the edge of the feather. It would bring it out, but I don't know how it would really work with what I was looking for. I'm happy with how that's come out just as it is. So I'm going to leave that now, and we've got our last one tomorrow, and I've got to make a decision about what to do with our lines. I think I have, but we'll see. I will make it tomorrow. But thank you for watching. I hope that you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.